Hello, and welcome to the Online Strength Coach Podcast, episode 100. I've been waiting for a little while before I recorded this episode for a variety of reasons. One was that I wanted to maybe do a special episode, maybe a round table with a few friends and a few lifters. That's something that I probably will do in the future, but I can't be arsed sitting on my laurels anymore, so I just decided to put the episode down because it was turning into a bit of a pedestal thing and stopped me producing regular content in this format. So that's something I will be doing in the future, but not something I will be doing to separate the special 100th episode. It's now been slightly over a year since I started this podcast, where this is now month 14, I believe. So that's slightly over 2 a month, which is pretty good going for a podcast, but sorry, that's slightly more than 2 a week, which is pretty good going for a podcast, but the original aim for the podcast was every day, which I'm not sure is tenable I could do it, but I'm not entirely sure if it's tenable with the format that I'm doing, the amount of questions that I'm getting, the amount of questions that are to ask within strength training. There's only so much information you can give out, or there's only so many topics you can cover and do justice to before you're, one, repeating yourself, which I have done a little bit with a few episodes in the past, or two, you're just producing like 5-minute episodes where there's not really a lot of content. It's not really something I want to deliver. What I want to deliver is a podcast that's at a very minimum 15 to 20 minutes in length, and ideally I would like a slightly longer, more in-depth podcast. Something that I've been thinking about, some things that some people have suggested with this podcast is the interview format. That's something that I have thought about. It is something that I enjoy quite a lot in other podcasts, the likes of the Side Hustle Show is purely interview based. There are other podcasts within this field that are almost purely episode or interview based, but I think that's something that a lot of people do very well. Something I probably will dip into every now and again, but this is going to maintain the format that it is, where it's more of a troubleshooting show. Although interviews are something that I will be looking to bring in future, but what I will bring when I do that will not be big names initially. It'll be more people you maybe never heard of, but who have a lot of interesting things to say about training in general or life in general. So this is the 100th podcast. Thank you very much for remaining a listener over this time. Today's podcast is very straightforward. It's basically watch a minute of 2 minutes of Ben Coomer, who is a nutritionist from the UK, has a video on Facebook that was shared by Maggie Constance on my Facebook feed that was named Screw Perfection, and he's basically it's a fairly reasonable message. He's trying to say that online fitness or the fitness industry in general are trying to portray perfect lives where they get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, work out, where they eat perfectly prepared food, they never slip up, they never fail. And he's basically trying to put across that that's not really the case in reality. In reality, it's more about the average of your efforts, etc., moderation. And it's a fairly good message, but it's not really one that I really recommend, or it's not really one that I jive with, because I think you take one straw man, the straw man of perfection, and you replace it with another straw man, which is you in your life and how it's a compromise and it's about this and it's about that. What I'm going to talk about today is being yourself and what that actually means. So when Ben's talking about his in his little podcast or his little video, he's talking about this perfect perception or this perfect exterior that fitness professionals produce, or the facade that they produce to the world. What we need to understand here, there's two things. There's the thing called perception, which is how you in your own mind you construct the world, how you perceive the world. And there is reality, and that's how the world is and how things actually happen and what actually goes on. Within science, you could call this subjective and objective. So subjective is within your own experience, and objective is there, it exists, it's verifiable and from different observers. You can get into philosophy on this point. Some people would say that all reality is subjective, so on and so forth. It's not something I'm really going to push in this podcast. It's more to say that these pressures that people think exist, they don't exist. They only exist because you allow them to exist. So if you look on your Instagram, there's loads of girls with big fake tits and nice six packs, or there's loads of guys who are buff, or there's loads of guys who are ripped. If you feel an urge to replicate that, or you feel that there's a pressure for you to look like that, it's only because you perceive that pressure, or you allow that pressure to exist. That pressure is a figment of your imagination. These people are pushing, they're marketing themselves, or they're marketing a certain look. They're basically selling you a product. As part of that sales process, body image is a big thing, the facade is a big thing, the lifestyle is a big thing. They're trying to push this lifestyle, they're trying to push this image out into the external world, or in the current world of social media and targeted marketing. They're pushing them to specific demographics. So the reason you get these messages within Instagram or Facebook or YouTube is because you fit their demographic, you fit what's called their avatar. So an avatar, when I want to sell something to somebody, this is my ideal customer, and they have these traits, they're this age, they're this sex, they like to do this, they have this expendable income, they have this lifestyle. You basically, for a lot of companies, modern companies that base themselves on social media, which is a lot of what fitness currently is, probably one of the more innovative or upwardly mobile industries within social media, Instagram, Facebook. Supplement companies and fitness companies are huge in the space, and they're really good at getting to their target audience in the space. The reason that you get all this information, the reason that you get all these pictures, is because you are yourself identifying yourself as that person. You are yourself identifying yourself as wanting to get that information. You subscribe to the fitness models, you like their pictures, you subscribe to the YouTube channels, you like them on Facebook, you follow them, and they're just putting out information, they're putting out an image to people that they think that will buy their product, and by the very nature of what you consume on social media, or what you consume on Facebook, on YouTube, probably what you buy and the sort of lifestyle that you lead, you fall in their catchment area. You are one of their avatars. So you can't really be sitting there thinking, oh shit man, I'm so annoyed at all these perfect bodies, I'm sick to death of this perfect food, these diets, these fitness fads, these fitness trends. You're putting yourself out there to these companies that you want this information. If you didn't like these people, you didn't subscribe to their YouTube channels, you didn't buy their products, you didn't try to lead that lifestyle, or at least on some level want to prescribe to that lifestyle, then you wouldn't get this information. If you liked McDonald's, you liked Subway, you liked so a couple of comedians' Facebooks, you follow some musicians, you wouldn't get fitness shit on your Instagram feed, you wouldn't get fitness shit on your Facebook feed, you wouldn't get fitness shit on your YouTube feed. You would get things related to what you liked or what you actively sought out as an individual. The perception that you may have is that there's this whole body image thing, or this whole perfect fitness and lifestyle out there. But what the reality is that doesn't exist. No one does that. Some people do, but they're anal really retentive, they have body issues, they have food compulsion issues. They're not normal people, they're not healthy people. As Ben says himself, it's like the reality of these things aren't this, but that's not... The actual real reality is that there is no pressure on you to do these things whatsoever. Everything you do is internal. Basically, you control... What we've talked about is what... The only real democratic choice you have in modern society is how you consume, what you consume, where you spend your money, what you read, what you watch. That's your only real democratic choice. That's 100% democratic, and it's about the only thing that is 100% democratic in today's society. What you feel as pressure is an internal driver. Everything that you feel outside of someone holding a gun to your head and saying, do this, the vast majority of it, if it's not an external pressure, so it's not the need to get money to pay for rent, the need to get money to pay for food, the need to get money to pay for your kids' education, to support your wife and your children, or your husband and your children. These are external pressures. These exist. They're not necessarily something you need to adhere to. You can not meet the pressure. The need to meet the pressure is completely internal. There's the consequences of the non-action that you feel, the consequences of not going to work, not earning money, not being able to afford the nice house, not being able to afford food for your kids. These all have consequences, and you don't want those consequences. That's why you feel that internal drive, you feel that internal pressure. There's no real external pressure out with in today's society other than what we let pressure us. So when we sit in our iPad and we scroll through Instagram, or we sit on our computer and we scroll through Facebook, if we see someone who's ripped and we're not ripped, and we're like, fuck, man, I really wish I was ripped. That's internal pressure. That's not external pressure. It's not that person's fault that they're ripped and you're not. You've made different life choices to get to where you are right at the minute. And only someone who isn't fully cognition of this fact, or someone who doesn't fully take ownership of this fact, they play game, they play blame games, externalize, shit man, fucking hate the media, everyone's so lean everyone's so skinny in the magazines, everyone's so pretty on TV, everyone's this, everyone's that, it's their fault, it's their fault, it's their fault. It's your fault for paying attention to it, it's your fault for letting it get to you. There is no need. Switch the fucking TV off. Unsubscribe to the people on Instagram you don't like. Just don't consume it. You have the choice not to. You choose to allow those pressures to drive you. The pressure's internal. It's 100% internal. And you allow that to be the state of being. Some people actively seek it. Like a lot of women who maybe have bad body images, or maybe not happy with their body or whatever, they still go out and buy fucking OK magazine. They still go out and buy More, whatever the magazines are. They still actively go out and pay their own money to buy these things and to intake this, to consume this content. They watch whatever shit TV shows are on TV, like The Real Housewives or Geordie Shore or whatever it is. They let it influence them. Don't read the magazines, don't watch the fucking TV, pick up a book, do something else. Ultimately you're responsible for every choice that you make. You have 100% autonomy out with of having a mental disease or some other unfortunate circumstance. You consciously make these decisions, you constantly consciously do these things. Take fucking ownership of what you're doing. Stop externalizing. Everything that drives you is internal. And if you're letting an external factor drive your internal motivation process, so if you're letting the fitness models on Instagram and how they look drive how you feel about yourself and how you want to look, you have two options. You can decide that that's a desirable way that you want to look, that's a goal that you want to achieve, that's something you want to do. So you take that external pressure, take that external look or take that external motivation, turn it into internal motivation, and actually go and fucking do something about it. Change your diet, change your training regime, get yourself into that condition. If that's what you want to look like, fucking sweet, go do it. Look like that. But don't, or if it's something that you don't want, or you feel insecure, or something you're like, I really don't feel like this is healthy for me, I don't think it's healthy for anybody else, I don't want this, I don't feel like I need this, I don't want that. Well then, unsubscribe from those people on fucking Instagram. Stop going to bodybuilding.com. Stop looking at the fucking Hodge twins on YouTube or whoever the fuck you're watching. Just stop engaging with it. Do something else. Do something that speaks to you on a personal level. What you need to do, and what I'm a big believer is find out what you're about. What motivates you? When you get up in the morning, what do you want to do? Do you want to get up and go to work? Yes or no? If you don't want to go to work, why the fuck are you doing that job? Oh, because I need the money, I need this, I need that. You could change anything in your life at any time. It's completely up to you. Action and non-action are a choice. Your non-action your action is to go to the job you don't like, is to keep engaging with the office, the people that you don't like, is to keep working for the boss you can't stand, is to keep doing the hour and a half commute you don't like, is to do the Monday to the Friday that you don't want to do, so you can live some kind of lifestyle. One of the best things, there's an audiobook called it was like The Science of Being Prolific or Time Hacks. I can't remember the actual name of the audiobook. It was very good. But it was basically like everyone celebrates the end of the week. They celebrate Friday. They go out and it's like every Friday is like a celebration. You go to the bar. You go to the bar on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's dead. There's no one there. No one's there having shots, doing toast. You come there Thursday. It's a bit more busy, and then you come to Friday and it's like, thank fuck it's Friday. It's a day of the week. But people are out there and they're celebrating the end of the job. They've got 2 days of free time and they're happy about it and they go out and drink to celebrate. Well, that's only 2 days of the week, man. There's 5 days of the week there that you can do whatever the fuck you want. You don't have to work the job that you're working. That is your choice. You're exercising your right to choice to be there. There's nothing stopping you in modern society from going up to your job or just not showing up. There's repercussions, of course, but there's fuck all stopping you. No one's going to frog march you at gunpoint to go into your job to work. No one's going to shoot you for not showing up. So if that's not what you're about, and what you're currently doing isn't what you're about, then find out what that is. What is it that you want to do? It's pretty much possible to make a living out of any kind of want or any kind of like these days in this society. We're so industrialized, and we're at a ridiculous part in history where it's possible to make good money talking into a microphone about any topic you want. If you can get the listenership, or if you can make it stick. So something like Dan Carlin, who's absolutely fantastic what he does, has a huge love of history and politics, and he makes a good living from talking to a microphone in his own time about topics that he wants to talk about on history and politics. That's a guy who wakes up and does what he wants to do on that day. And that's what happiness is about, really. It's about doing what you want to do. So, find out what you're about. It's most people know. And if you don't know, then start finding out. Read. Start, maybe do some self-reflection. You don't have to fucking meditate or all that stuff, but if you read more, try more hobbies, do different things, meet different people, put yourself out of your comfort zone, and eventually you'll come across what it is you want to do. And when you discover that, then you can chase that. Now, one of the bullet points I have here is tell the world to fuck off. And that's basically part of what this being yourself is about. It's about doing what you want to do. It's not about, it's what we were saying beforehand, it's not allowing external motivating factors or images or reading or media to affect you, to affect your internal drivers, to affect your internal motivation. It's about being cognizant at all times that ultimately you're a free actor and you're making your own choices. And you're allowing people to affect these choices, and you're unhappy about that. But how can you be unhappy about something that you're allowing to happen, or something that you're actively engaging with on many points? Just stop it. Tell them to fuck off. Tell Living TV to fuck off. Tell More Magazine to fuck off. Tell MTV to fuck off. Tell Facebook to fuck off. Tell Instagram to fuck off. Just stop fucking doing it. Go read a book. Do some exercise. Talk to friends. Actually have a meaningful conversation with somebody. Talk about something meaningful. Talk about politics. Talk about philosophy. Talk about fitness. Talk about health. Talk about science. Don't talk about the Kardashians. Don't gossip about what fucking Billy and Sue are doing. Fuck Billy and Sue. Let them do their own thing. Fuck them. Worry about you and worry about what you're doing. And then finally, it all comes down to doing what you want to do. You only get one shot at life. So please don't waste it doing what other people want you to do. Do things because you want to do it. And remember, ultimately, it's your choice. If you're not happy about that choice, then do something about it. Thank you very much for listening to episode 100 of the Online Strength Coach podcast. This had absolutely nothing to do with strength training. Just a 2-minute video that annoyed me. If you have any questions you'd like answered, please send me an email to speedpowerperformance@gmail.com. Comments below. Catch me online, onlinestrengthcoach.com or castironstrength.com. Thank you very much for listening. I've been Mark, and I'll catch you in episode 101 of the Online Strength Coach podcast.